5 things you must keep secret for inner peace. Hello and welcome to Zen Buddhism Wisdom. Today, we embark on a profound journey into the power of silence and mindful speech. Have you ever wondered why some words bring peace, while others create suffering? Why the Buddha, despite possessing infinite wisdom, often chose silence over speech? In today's world, where social media, endless conversations, and the urge to express every thought dominate our lives, we often forget the wisdom of restraint. But the Buddha once said, "Silence is better than unmeaning words." This ancient truth holds more relevance today than ever before. Buddhist philosophy teaches us that not everything is meant to be shared. Certain words, when spoken carelessly, can disturb our inner peace, invite unnecessary suffering, and even lead to harm. True wisdom lies in knowing what to share, when to speak, and when to remain silent. In this video, we will uncover 5 key things you should never share openly according to Buddhist teachings. These lessons, drawn from centuries of wisdom, will help you cultivate serenity, protect your energy, and walk the path of true mindfulness. Are you ready to explore the power of silence? Let's begin. 1. Your inner peace. Inner peace is not something you find in the world around you. It is something you cultivate within. We often believe that peace comes from the absence of conflict, the right circumstances, or the approval of others. But the truth is, peace is an internal state, untouched by external chaos. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha teaches, "He who is free from attachment, beyond pleasure and pain, and patient, such a man goes beyond suffering." Yet, have you noticed how fragile inner peace can be? A single argument, an unkind remark, or even an unsolicited opinion can send ripples through your mind, disturbing the calm you've worked so hard to build. We seek validation, thinking it will bring us confidence, yet in return, we may receive doubt, criticism, or even jealousy. The more we depend on external approval, the more unstable our peace becomes. Buddhism teaches that true peace arises from detachment, not from indifference, but from the ability to remain unshaken by the ever-changing world around us. Instead of exposing your inner world to the unpredictable opinions of others, guard it like a sacred temple. Imagine your mind as a still lake. Each word, reaction, or judgment from others is like a stone tossed into the water. The more you share, the more ripples form, disturbing the stillness. But when you protect your peace, when you let go of unnecessary drama and expectations, the water remains undisturbed. A profound example of this wisdom comes from Mahakasyapa, one of the Buddha's foremost disciples. During a sermon, the Buddha did something unusual. He simply held up a single flower. The audience was puzzled, expecting an explanation. But Mahakasyapa simply smiled. That silent smile signified his deep understanding, his enlightenment beyond words. This moment, known as the flower sermon, became the foundation of Zen Buddhism, emphasizing that ultimate wisdom is not found in explanations, but in direct experience. Mahakasyapa understood what many fail to grasp. Sometimes, silence holds more truth than words. So how can we apply this in daily life? First, instead of venting every thought and emotion, practice self-reflection and meditation. Silence is not suppression. It is mastery over the mind. Second, When faced with negativity, remain composed. Do not let someone else's turmoil become your storm. And finally, share your wisdom through actions, not just words. Just as Mahakasyyapa's silent smile spoke volumes, let your presence and inner peace be the greatest teaching you offer the world. True peace is not found in the noise. It is found in the quiet strength within. 2. Your negative thoughts. The Buddha once said, "Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts." We often think of harm as something external, caused by circumstances, people, or misfortunes. But in reality, the most destructive force lies within our own minds. Negative thoughts, when left unchecked and spoken carelessly, not only burden ourselves, but also affect those around us. The principle of right speech, a key part of the Eightfold Path, reminds us to speak only what is true, necessary, and kind. But how often do we pause before we speak? It is effortless to complain, to criticize, to focus on what is wrong. When we voice negativity repeatedly, we reinforce it in our own minds, giving it power and permanence. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds that take root in both the speaker and the listener. A single harsh word can linger in someone's heart for a lifetime, just as a single kind word can uplift a person beyond measure. Once spoken, words cannot be taken back. Like an arrow released from the bow, they find their target, whether intended or not. A powerful lesson on the impact of words and thoughts comes from the story of Angulimala, a ruthless bandit feared by all. He had taken many lives, and his name alone struck terror in those who heard it. When he encountered the Buddha, he expected judgment and condemnation, but instead of anger, the Buddha met him with silence and compassion. That simple act shattered the cycle of hatred and violence within Angulimala's heart. Instead of reacting to negativity with more negativity, the Buddha's restraint transformed a murderer into a peaceful monk. This story reminds us that mindful speech and restraint have the power to heal rather than harm. So how can we apply this wisdom in daily life? First, before speaking, ask yourself 3 essential questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If the answer is no, silence is often the wiser path. Second, instead of letting negativity control your speech, train yourself to observe thoughts mindfully. Not every irritation or frustration needs to be voiced. Sometimes, simple awareness is enough to dissolve negativity. Lastly, cultivate metta-loving kindness, meditation, to nurture compassion in your thoughts and words. When kindness fills your heart, it naturally overflows into your speech, uplifting both yourself and those around you. Words shape reality. Choose them with care, and they will lead you toward peace rather than suffering. 3. Your personal vulnerabilities. There is a natural human tendency to seek comfort in sharing our struggles, hoping for support, understanding, or validation. But not everyone deserves to hear your vulnerabilities. Some may listen with genuine compassion, but others may judge, dismiss, or even use your words against you. The Buddha emphasized self-awareness, not just in our thoughts and actions, but also in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Trust is precious, yet it can be easily misplaced. We often assume that those around us have our best interests at heart. But history and even the Buddha's own life shows us otherwise. A striking example is the story of Devadatta, the Buddha's own cousin. At first, Devadatta was a devoted follower, walking the path of Dharma, but as time passed, jealousy consumed him. He craved power, seeking to take over the monastic order, and even conspiring to harm the Buddha. His betrayal serves as a timeless warning. Even those closest to you may not always have pure intentions. So how can we navigate this in our own lives? Be mindful of who you confide in. Trust should not be given freely. It must be earned. Choose to share your deepest struggles only with those who have proven their wisdom, compassion, and integrity. Over time, instead of seeking validation from the world, turn inward. True personal growth happens in silence, in self-reflection, in moments of deep introspection, not through external approval. If you must seek guidance, do so from those who embody the principles of wisdom, mentors, teachers, or spiritual practitioners with ethical integrity. And above all, remember that your vulnerabilities are sacred. Not everyone deserves access to them. Like a flame, if you expose it to the wrong winds, it will be extinguished. But if you protect it, nurture it, and feed it with mindfulness, it will burn brightly, lighting your path, without the need for external validation. 4. Your future plans. The future is uncertain, yet many of us cling to it, believing that our plans will unfold exactly as we imagine. But attachment to the future leads to suffering. The Buddha cautioned against this when he said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." We often feel the urge to share our goals, expecting support or encouragement. But instead, we may receive skepticism, jealousy, or unnecessary pressure. The more we talk about our plans, the more we expose them to external influences, opinions, doubts, and distractions that can weaken our resolve. Instead of using words to declare your future, let your actions do the speaking. A profound example of this wisdom, it is found in the story of Prince Siddhartha's silent departure. Before becoming the Buddha, Siddhartha lived a life of luxury in the palace, but deep within, he felt a calling, a need to seek truth beyond material comforts. He knew that if he announced his plan to leave, his family would resist, pleading with him to stay. Instead of debating, justifying, or seeking approval, he left in silence. That quiet, determined step allowed him to fully dedicate himself to his spiritual journey, free from external obstacles. This lesson applies to our own lives. Move in silence. Let your dedication, discipline, and results be the proof of your journey. Instead of seeking validation, trust in yourself. Keep your goals private until they are strong enough to withstand external influence. The greatest achievements are not those that are loudly proclaimed, but those that unfold with quiet determination. Stay present, stay focused, and let your success be your response to the world. 5. Your acts of kindness. True kindness is quiet, unassuming, and free from the need for recognition. In a world where people often seek validation for their good deeds, Buddhism teaches that the purest generosity is selfless. The Buddha reminds us, a good deed brings joy to the heart, whether seen or unseen. The illusion of recognition. Many people help others, but deep down they crave acknowledgement, a word of praise, a public thank you, or even just the satisfaction of being noticed. But true compassion does not seek applause. When we give with expectation, our kindness becomes transactional. Instead of being an act of pure goodwill, it becomes a way to feed the ego. The most profound generosity is the kind that expects nothing in return. A lesson from Emperor Ashoka, one of the greatest historical examples of this lesson, is found in the life of Emperor Ashoka. Once a ruthless conqueror, Ashoka underwent a deep transformation. After embracing Buddhism, he became known for his grand acts of kindness, building hospitals, planting trees, and spreading Dharma across his empire. But what many do not know is that he also engaged in hidden charity, secretly providing for the poor, without seeking recognition. This practice aligns with Buddhist teachings on humility and selfless giving. How can we apply this wisdom? Practice dana generosity without expectation. If you give purely out of compassion, not for praise. Help others in ways that do not draw attention to yourself, whether through anonymous acts or quiet, meaningful gestures. Recognize that the true reward of kindness is not external applause, but the inner fulfillment it brings. When you give selflessly, you align yourself with the deeper nature of compassion, the kind that needs no spotlight, no validation, and no reward. Beyond the joy of giving itself. Final reflections. In the end, silence is not emptiness, it is wisdom. The Buddha taught that mindful speech and restraint are essential for a peaceful and enlightened life. By protecting our inner peace, choosing our words carefully, sharing only with those we trust, focusing on present actions, and practicing kindness without seeking recognition, we walk the path of wisdom and serenity. These teachings remind us that not everything needs to be spoken. Some things, when shared carelessly, can bring suffering, while others, when kept sacred, can nurture our growth and inner tranquility. True wisdom lies in knowing the difference. A call to reflection. The journey to mindfulness begins with awareness, and awareness begins with you. If today's insights have resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on how you can apply them in your own life. This brings us to the end of the video. What are your thoughts on today's topic? Leave a comment and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive more insightful videos on Zen Buddhism and mindful living. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.